What's up? I'm the CMD of the Pick and Pop Podcast, and I'm here to recap last night's NBA action. We had two games. One was great, one was meh. But we gotta start with Raptors Celtics, right? Double OT, the Raptors fighting off elimination, living for another day. We got a game 7 now to look forward to with the Raptors and the Celtics. Another rough game for Pascal Siakam as Jaylen Brown continues to put him in a straitjacket, but 33 points from Kyle Lowry, another 23 from Norman Powell, and the soon-to-be very rich in free agency, Fred VanVleet continues to establish himself as an upper echelon guard. So the Raptors fight back. The shots were not falling in the first half. In the second half, magically, Marc Gasol, reincarnates himself to looking like Memphis Marc Gasol and is bombing away from threes, and he's active on the defensive end. So everything went right for the Raptors to fight off elimination. If you're the Celtics, you got to look at it as, we tried our best. We ran our dogs all the way. Kemba, Tatum, Brown put up major minutes. Marcus Smart again playing out of his mind, and they just couldn't get it done. So now as we look to game 7, what the hell are we supposed to expect? I really don't know at this point. Quite frankly, I thought the Raptors were done. I thought they had exhausted all that they had in the last game in game 5. But now seeing that reserve, seeing that moxie, I don't want to drag up Rudy T, but the heart of a champion, like all of that type of stuff, that means something. Game 7, anything can happen. Did the Raptors get this close? Did the Raptors fight so tough just to trick off game 7? At this point, they have to win game 7, right? I mean, with the OG shot, with the heroics that we've seen from VanVleet and Lowry the entirety of the series, the fact that Siakam's been fighting through, the fact that Jaylen Brown's been trying to lock him up, all this adversity that the Raptors are fighting through just in this series alone, they have to cap this off with a Game 7 dub, right? If you're the Celtics, though, and you got the boy genius Brad Stevens, this is what you brought him in for, right? He's been here all this time. You've been denying all these trades for these draft picks. You held on to everything. And you still got Tatum and Brown. And you was finally able to get a big free agent in Kemba Walker. This is the time where those three have to surpass what the Raptors bring to the table. If the Celtics go out in 7 games, being up 3-2, with the fact that they got Tatum, Brown, and Kemba, and the Raptors are basically running out here on fumes with Lowry, VanVleet, that's going to be a problem, and you got to look at the Celtics possibly being shaky in the light. So we get the double OT thriller with the Raptors and the Celtics, right? And then we get left with Nuggets, Clippers. And while it looks like it was a dominant game for the Clippers, it really wasn't. Like, the Nuggets had chances to really cut the lead and potentially take the lead, but there were some issues. One of those issues could be that Jokic took way too many shots. I mean, just listen to Michael Porter Jr. You heard him in the postgame. MPJ was not having it. He wants to rock more. And we know that the bread and butter with the Nuggets is the two-man game of Jokic and Jamal Murray. But MPJ was the only one off that bench who showed up, or even as a starter. Like, he really was the one that was asserting himself, hitting threes. Now, look, we know he's trash on D. We know he's Swiss cheese on D. But in terms of scoring the rock, the Nuggets are not going to be able to score as they're used to in this series. A lot is going to be made of MPJ's comments, and I'm not mad at it. I like a youngin' like him who's been waiting for this opportunity to hoop and hoop on a grand stage. He's been waiting, and he's shown flashes during the 8 seeding games and in the last round. So he's looking for the chance to show off and show out, and he's given us glimpses. But coming down the stretch in the fourth quarter, it was way too much Nikola Jokic. So if I'm MPJ and I'm on the court and I'm cooking, it's not like I'm chucking it up and I'm bricking. I'm hitting jimmies, but yet and still, every play coming down, we're starting it through Jokic. We're running it through Jokic. And Jokic did not have a great game. You could look at the box score and say, oh yeah, Jokic played well. If you watch the game, Jokic did not perform well again in the fourth quarter. This has been his bugaboo throughout this series. Is he wearing down? I thought the weight loss was supposed to help with the conditioning. What is Nikola Jokic actually as a player? Is he a number 1 option? To me, he should not be. Not when I got Jamal Murray, and now I got MPJ, a young pup, on the come up. The Clippers are prone to do this, right? They're prone to let teams hang around. They think they can literally flip that switch on and off. What you saw last night was another example of them turning the switch off. They built up a big lead, and then they slowly turned the switch off, and then the Nuggets came back. And then they got to flip the switch back on, and then they got to put teams away. Where was Pandemic P? I thought he had to talk with the shrink and everything was all good. Only 10 points last night. Again, this is a guy who they're going to need going forward. We know what we're waiting for. We're waiting for Lakers Clippers in the Western Conference Finals. 10 points in a statement game, you can't have that from Pandemic Pete. If you like my NBA takes and opinions, make sure to check out the video here and here. And make sure to subscribe and like, turn the bell on for notifications. Also, check for the Pick Up Pop podcast, which is the link for that is down below in the description. So, again, I'm coming back every day with NBA recaps until we get down to the nitty gritty, which is the Eastern and Western Conference Finals. So, I will literally check you tomorrow. Peace.